Ja. 3, 2, 4. Als du nur noch auf der Teile. Bitte.
Do you know Valentino Rossi?
Number.
Yeah, it's his number.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good luck.
It's a good. Yeah. Um.
54.
6, 0, 2. Was it? Yeah. I was missing the best part.
That's a much better.
Welcome back to Ruhpolding and the breathtaking Bavarian Alps. The action continues in one of the circuit's most iconic and indeed noisiest venues. And the weekend, it has arrived, and with that, an increase in the number of fans descending here in Ruhpolding. One last opportunity to perfect the sprint ahead of the Olympic Games, with qualification to the Games still to be decided for a number of athletes and nations as well. So there's plenty still on the line today in Ruhpolding. -1 the air temperature, so it has dropped after a couple of days over freezing. 3 laps to 3.3 kilometres, 2 shooting stages to decide who will be kicking off Sunday's pursuit. Chad Salmler, former US biathlete and coach, 4 sprint races, got 3 different sprint winners up till this point, and the first time that Tommaso Giacomo, winner of the last 3 consecutive races in all disciplines, will wear yellow for a sprint. Who today has the ability to dethrone him?
I think there are a number of characters, and I think that it's going to be tough for Tommaso Giacomo to stretch 3 straight wins into a 4th and a 5th win on the season. Came into the season with a single win prior to this season, and now has amassed 4 of them. So I think he's on a good roll. He's got great ski form. His confidence on the range is great, but I think there are a number of athletes who can take him down, and I think Sebastian Samuelsson is one of the earliest to go out on the course. He'll be the first one out of the red or the elite group. Samuelsson will go with bib 44. Got to watch for him. Vetle Schuster Christensen, Quinton Fillon-Maillet, Eric Perrault, Martin Ponsaloma. The list goes on. Philip Navrath for the Germans, and of course Johannes Dalashevdal, all on the start order today, and all a threat to the Italian.
So we take a look at the start list on your screens now. Of course, all the athletes starting in 30-second intervals. And for many, particularly when we look further down the order, this is one of the last chances they will have to impress their Olympic committees and collect points if they're looking to go through the IBU qualification point system ahead of the Olympic Games. So just to run you through the qualification process for the Games, which kicks off in less than a month's time. A total quota of 210 athletes, 105 men, 105 women, and the first 90 allocations come through. The nation score the Nations Cup score with a final 12 spots per gender allocated using the IBU qualifying points list, which, Chad, certainly as we get further down the order later on in the racing, it's something where the athletes in those later bibs still have their eyes on pushing up the order in those 12 qualification spaces available through the IBU qualifying point system.
Yeah, it's a great part of the final 25-30 athletes on the start order. We've got 109 on the start today, and I think that's a big reason this start order has swelled so big in Ruhpolding, is those people at the back of the field are trying to qualify for the spot at the Olympics, and it's a compelling story. And it's not the primary story at the front of the competitive field, but it's one that's definitely worth watching as the weekend closes out here today and tomorrow.
So we've had a couple of stunning days of racing already here in Ruhpolding, one of the most iconic venues and indeed noisiest on the course. Chad, the Germans have tasted some success in the men's relay. Can they replicate it today in the men's sprint?
They can, but it's going to be a story that we watched yesterday in the women's competition. The course may break down a little bit, and that might not be in the favor of the very best athletes, which could open up some doors for some people early in the start order, and maybe even late in the start order. But the earlier starters have a slight bit more advantage than they normally do on a World Cup weekend in a sprint competition because of the warmth. But I think that the thing we have to see is people going for it. We saw it in the women's race. The top three were all women who really went for it in the shooting, and the men are going to have to do the same. There's not a lot of place to make time. Everybody knows that split seconds matter in Ruhpolding, and they're all aware of it. All 109 of them know that what's on the line when they step onto the course in Ruhpolding.
Well, it's a brilliant shot though, as we saw the range and the backdrop behind it. Plenty of flags waving in the crowd, and it was perfectly still where it matters on the range. And of course, that's always a key factor here in Ruhpolding. A quick shot of Emilienne Claude, who, well, has had a really challenging first half of the season. Surgery on a herniated disc in September, caught COVID in Östersund, and has had to fight his way back from illness. But a couple of really promising results on the IBU Cup, and he will go out bib number 3 today. You spoke about the earlier bibs, Chad. No more catch attention than Andrei Rastoguyev's, who his last podium was here last season in the individual, finishing 3rd, and actually the last time we were here, he in a sprint competition, that is, he finished 17th, wearing bib 1 on that day, back in the early orders, and certainly, despite being 37 years of age, someone will be looking to continue that good luck and good performances that he has here in Ruhpolding.
He's just very seasoned at 37 years of age, and he always, over the course of his career when he was younger, he was a very fast skier and a very wild shooter. And he completely has flipped on what he relies on now. Now he relies on shooting experience on the shooting range.
So here we go, the final men's sprint before the Olympic Games is underway. There's Anton Sinopov of Bulgaria first out onto the tracks, wearing bib number 1 today.
Sinopov has been on the Bulgarian team for a number of years. His first World Cup season back in 2014, so he's 12 years on the World Cup. As you see, Rastoguyev's the man himself, bib number 2, stepping into the start gate.
Well, he has won a sprint, but that was almost a decade ago now in Kontiolahti. 17-18 season. 5 sprint podiums in his time.
He's just seven starts away from a full year of starting in the World Cup. He's got 357 starts today.
And a welcome return to the World Cup for Emilienne Claude, who has been on the IBU Cup since Hochfilzen, owing to the illness that he picked up in Östersund, inflamed lungs he had after picking up COVID-19. And, well, it's great to see him back. And, Chad, we mentioned those impressive results on the IBU Cup. 2 solo silvers in the time he spent there before returning again to the World Cup today.
Yeah, and the athletes are still very careful with their doctors on having COVID and with their heart, and that their heart is ready for the competition. And we see that Claude is back, but his ski performance this year has not been what it's used to. He's at about average of skill of the field. He's normally been a little bit faster than that, but he also needs some time now to get that form that's fast in the field that he's certainly capable of. He just needs some more racing to get that to happen. Second
here last season in the individual competition. No sprint here last season. The last sprint was in the 23-24 season.
I always have to kind of check myself. I keep thinking that Emilien Claude is older than he is. He's got 2 older brothers, one racing for Belgium and one racing for France in his French national colors. But he's got to give himself some time. If he's had this much trouble this year, I think at this point he's just trying to prove to the French team that he's worth taking to the Olympics.
And of course, there are still spots to be filled by the Olympic committees. And more positions to be announced. Plenty of the early orders have been announced already from the big nations, particularly those who have already had a number of wins and podium finishes on the World Cup. Have already booked their place, and that's been announced by plenty already of the national federations, but more still to come. And of course, this last weekend where they can impress the selectors. And there's one final weekend on the World Cup next weekend in Novo Mesto. There will be no sprint, short individual for both the men and the women, and then the mass start. Here's Lukas Fratscher.
And the German crowd on cue, the first German on course, always gets a nice rousing round of approval heading out. Fratscher has spent the lion's share of his career on the IBU Cup, but was on the 5th place. It was not on the relay team here, but it was on the finished 16th in the sprint in Oberhof. It's one of his best performances of his career. His best is 13th in the 2019 season in Oslo, so his 3rd best performance coming this season. So it's a good place for Fratscher to start.
Yeah, has had some good recent results on the IBU Cup in the last 2 rounds, picking up 4 top 10 finishes, including 2 flower ceremonies in that time. And in and out of the World Cup team, as Chad says, this season.
Waiting for the first time checks at 2 kilometers. It's a 3.3 kilometer loop, so a little bit longer than what we've seen all week long. Most of the competition is happening on 2.5 or 2 kilometers so far this week. Switching up to 3.2 kilometers for this lap now. And let's go a little bit faster, a little bit further than where they turn around in the races we've seen so far. They'll add 1 climb at the end of the course.
Riding on board with Emilien Claude. It's number 3. Who will be hoping to do something from the early order here.
Sergei Rashguyev has gone through 2 kilometers, as has Anton Sinopov.
That's the start gate where we find Victor Brandt. First leg for Sweden in the relay earlier on this week. And in a podium as we see Emilien Claude, who's fastest through 2 kilometers by 6.5 seconds over Andrei Rastaguyev's.
You have to hand it to Victor Brandt, but kind of feel for him. The event that he actually tags off in second, the Swedes actually fall off the podium for the first time. Not even his doing, though.
Dalen Aspenes of Norway, 19th in the sprint in Oberhof last weekend, finishing 16th in the pursuit in the following days. His previous best before this season was a pursuit here in the 21-22 season when he finished 25th.
Just 10 starts for Aspenes, so trying to make the most of this opportunity that he has today. Hard to get a start when you race for Norway.
Well, it's already been a happy week for Lucas Hoffer, who we can see wearing bib number 18 as he prepares to make his way out onto the track. This is Thierry Longo, though, of Belgium. His speed has slowed this season, but he has seen improvements in his standing shooting.
I was really impressed with Thierry Longo. He's had a long, solid career, but look at the time Andrei Rastaguyev's on Sinopov. He's absolutely flying. Might catch Sinopov by the first shooting stage. Sinopov started 30 seconds ahead of him in actual time. Now, Emilien Claude trying to take down the time of the 37-year-old Rastaguyev's at the 2.6 kilometer mark before he heads back into the chute.
And he does do indeed 5.6 seconds, the lead of Emilien Claude over Andrei Rastaguyev's.
fairly sizable lead for 2.6 kilometers, so we're going to see that time drop quite a bit. Nice shot of the camera we're going to get there. This nice camera on a wire down this tail is really great perspective. It gives you a sense of how fast these athletes move across the snow. Coming to the range now, the first of 2 shooting stages. Rastoguyev, second starter on the day.
Now packed into the grandstand, 2 of them. As you can see, this one directly behind the range. Always the first tickets to sell out as Rastoguyev drops down into the prone position.
These weekend crowds are just waiting to cheer for the shooter. First shooter, they're already excited. Sinapov. Rastoguyev going well, 2-second cadence. Good professional start on the shooting range for Rastoguyev. Check out his time after he leaves. 25.4 seconds, right smack dab in the middle where you need to be in terms of being competitive. You need to be 25 or faster probably to be among the top 15, top 20 shooting times.
Where will Emilio and Claude find himself? Coming in 4.9 seconds in the lead.
Took 20 seconds to get to the first shot. So that's a relatively slow first shot, so that's going to push his shooting time down a ways. Give up a couple seconds to Rastoguyev on the range, but should take the lead or be very close.
And he will take the lead here. 1/8 of a second after a 30.3 second visit to the range. Here's Tony Vidmar.
Comes in 5.6 seconds back of Claude. Oh, there's a miss though.
An early trip to the penalty loop for Vidmar. Here's Kwichmar. 2018 Olympic silver medalist in the sprint. His only World Cup podium was here in 2017 in the pursuit.
Still just 20 bibs into this competition, still very early. We haven't really seen the A-seed men all on course yet. That will start with bib number 44, Sebastian Samuelsson. We're in the blue group right now. Frotcher gets the cheers, as you would expect. .93% prone shooting. That's not his problem. His problem is the standing. 72% from the standing.
It's the fastest around the first lap, as you can see just how still the range is today. Absolutely no movement through the flags whatsoever. As Kratzer drops down into the prone position, faster than Emilien Claude around the first lap by 1.5 seconds.
Had at least tricky conditions at every range before this one. Even Le Grand Bonnant gave him a little bit of trouble, but things are perfect here in Ruhpolding. But Frotcher starts with a miss. So despite the great shooting conditions, Ellen, there's only 2 clean through the first 5. Now as Frotcher comes through, he'll go through. He has a miss, so the first 7, still only 2 clean shooters.
Well, it is surprising, that record, Chad, particularly in comparison with the women's sprint yesterday, where we saw so many clean shooters, and you needed to be perfect and incredibly fast in the range yesterday to contend.
There's Frotcher's time now. Still just 14.9 seconds back despite a trip around the penalty loop. That tells you he's skiing faster than the rest of the field up to now. This is the first 7 starters.
The third he goes. Into the range comes Mark Markoskieva, wearing the colours of Estonia. And what a great week it's been already. Part of the record-equalling relay team at the start of this week, finishing 5th in their best result since 2003.
Kieva is just 21 years of age. World Cup best of 34th prior to today. Both of those coming in the individual and pursuit this year. Really interesting how Filson. But nice shooting. I like the composure of this Estonian team here. Oh, and a little fall there. And got to get up and get those seconds back. We saw yesterday in the women's race, there's no time for things like that to help you stay high in the order at the end of the day.
I think that was one of the things that was so impressive. You mentioned it just before the loss of footing there from Markos Kieva, but just how young the Estonian team is, Chad, and how well they performed. Here's a team, or someone who would have wanted better from his team despite his own personal good performance, and finds himself once around the penalty league to Brandt of Sweden.
He's going well on the skis, though. This is a good ski performance for Brandt compared to Emil and Claude. So Brandt's showing he's got the power on the skis right now. I think he's probably a lock for the Swedish Olympic team at this point, would be my guess, but it could be tight. He might not have the spot locked up yet, and he needs to go clean standing. Sveridon Ospinus now. In his 10th start. What can he do? Turning on the skis by 7.5 seconds. Big miss there. Not big, but just out. This is Sitariebu on hand here, talking to Natalie Santer of Italy.
And here is someone who's benefited from the retirements of both of the Bo brothers. Isak Fry, the blue bib wearer, who makes his way out onto the course. Last time a sprint was held here, it was Kalia Bo who took the bronze medal on that day.
Currently sitting in the 20th spot overall in the World Cup standings. Leading Vitaly Manson in second, 27 in the race for the blue bib. Manson's fighting with Campbell Wright for that bib early last season. Campbell Wright pulled away in the second half of the season to claim that blue bib. Now he's not eligible for it anymore because he's 24. 23 actually, but he's not under 23. So. Here's the first of the shooting range of our blue group skiers. This is the Lithuanian Vytautas Strolia, bib 16. The blue group made up of the 16th through 30th ranked skiers or biathletes in the world. Strolia currently in the 30th spot overall. Slightly better at the sprint competition. He's currently ranked 22nd or 27th in the sprints. It's a nice lead of 4.6 seconds over Claude. So skiing competitive, but really slow shooting. 5 seconds between shot 1 and 2. Now he's into a rhythm, but he misses a shot at that rhythm. So really surprisingly not good shooting so far from the field. Through 16 athletes, still only 3 clean shooters of 16. That's hard to believe.
Here's Jesper Nylén. As Vytautas Strolia once around the penalty leap he goes. Still managed to finish 18th in the 23-24 season. The race here, despite one miss in the range that day, as Nylén burst out of the blocks.
Well, 18th last year in this race, or when he last raced this format in Ruhpolding, is where he's ranked right now. He's ranked overall 18th in the overall standings, the 14th ranked biathlete overall in the World Cup. So Nylén is the most highly touted athlete on the course so far.
And here is Lukas Hoffa, dropping down into the prone position as in comes Rastiguyev for his stand. Received his reallocated world silver medal, Lukas Hoffa, earlier on this week after the relay. That was for the mass starts in 2011.
Really taking his time. Now into a more competitive rhythm, and he gets all 5. So, but the time has come and gone, and he's given the time up on the range to Emil and Claude. I don't think he's going to take the lead.
He won't take the lead, as you say, Chad, but he has seen a big improvement in his prone shooting, up to 91%. It has maybe come at the cost of the time, though, as Emilien Claude starts with a miss. The most he can achieve now is a 9 out of 10 day, although it will be 8 out of 10 for Emilien Claude, who would have wanted a lot better on his return to the World Cup.
I don't know. These guys they look a little rusty on the shooting range today. I'm not sure. I'm sure there are going to be some athletes who come along and push the shooting speed and accuracy. But right now, after shooting 1, 6 of 18 athletes clean. So lots of opportunities for later in the start order. And here is Maxime Germain leading it by 1.5 seconds from bib 21 now for the United States. Great opportunity for him to throw his hat at the front of into the ring for the front of the order. Sylvia Longer holding on the fastest shooting time right now, 23.7 seconds for the first prone.
Here's Fabien Claude. Maxime Germain gets his first 2 targets down.
That one miss, he knows it. You can see him blow some air out of his cheeks, and he knows. So far, with the way the shooting is going, it's not terribly uncompetitive to be 4 for 5, but it's a big field, 108 athletes still to go, and he's just bib 21, so that miss is going to be painful.
Simon Adamov from Slovakia, never qualified for a pursuit on the World Cup. Could today be the day? Lucas Crutcher.
You feel the rhythm of this sprint is going to slowly crescendo right now. Some early starters kind of dabbling with some poor shooting, and at some point somebody's going to start coming in and taking these times down because the shooting just isn't at the level that we're used to, that the range conditions should be delivering right now. Crutcher tried to get the German crowd excited, but the fourth shot threw a damp towel on the cheering there as he heads to the penalty loop again.
Here's the 24, Vitaly Manzin. All well in the sprint in Oberhof. There's a miss though.
I don't. There's no real good explanation as to why they're missing. Maybe some of them are thinking they need to be shooting faster and jumping on a trigger when they're not feeling the rhythm come to them. But it's going to come to somebody, and that person who comes to is going to take the lead. Here is Bionats now with 0.8 of a second in hand over Hornig, now your leader after shooting 1. Didn't see Hornig shooting. He's big 22. He's a minute and a half ahead of Bionats. But goes inside 1.2 seconds of Emilian Claude, who was the early leader. But Bionats fast on this first lap, but starts with a miss, so he'll be out of it. Four for 5, but if you think back to what we watched yesterday in the women's sprint competition, we have not seen anything approaching what was going on in the women's shooting.
Here's David Zorbel, comes in 2.1 seconds in the lead, clean so far, much to the delight of the German home crowd. 5 for 5, the home fans love it, and it's a good start for David Zorbel.
Should be close to Hornig here. Very tight. He might be just inside. Oh, just outside, 0.2 of a second.
To the relay team that finished third, David Zorbel at the start of this week. Victor Brandt starts his second visit to the range with a miss.
Another miss, 8 for 10, and you know that's not going to do it in Ruhpolding, and I think a lot of it is just jitters, I just think there's unsettled. It might be just the expectation of what they know they need to do is kind of settling in on this men's field.
This is the first time that we're seeing Isak Frey this week. Comes in 0.7 of a second down on Hornig, but he's quick through the range. 4 for 4, that's 5, and it's quick from Isak Frey.
That's a little bit more like it. See where he comes in on a shooting time. And he is going to just be, it's so tight after shooting 1.
1/10 of a second in it is the leader's compatriot. This is Karlik of Czechia. 1.1 seconds he trails his teammate Vlad Hornig.
Yes, for him though as well. So Frey comes in and shoots the fourth fastest time, 25.4 seconds. Thierry Longer continues to be the fastest shooter, 23.7. Maxime Germain at 2:24.8 is third. So Germain trying to go clean with the fast shooting stage, but he ends up in the penalty loop by doing that. And that might just be what we're looking at. It's just everybody knows. They saw the women's race yesterday. They know you not only have to be clean, but you have to be quick. But we're seeing misses abound as these athletes struggle to find that fast rhythm and be successful on the hits.
And here is Campbell Wright, still in hunt of those first podium places on the World Cup after a spectacular World Championships. And well, Chad, he'll take a huge amount of confidence going into the Olympic Games. But in comes Jesper Nalin, who's clearly on good form on the skis. 3.8 seconds his lead around the first lap over Vítězslav Hornig.
He is the fastest statistical skier on course so far in the entire field. So this is not surprising that he's got a 3.8 second lead, but he's got to do something with it now with the shooting. Not with the most natural, comfortable prone position. He's got a little bit of a cant leaning out. And everybody's body types are different, and they affect the rifle position differently, but that's good for Nalin there.
A composed start from Jesper Nalin. He may just fall outside of the time he will. It won't be the lead for the Swedes, but he won't be far off it. 2.5 seconds down on the time of Hornig. Sees Jesper Nalin go into sixth through shooting one. And coming home, Andres Rastogujev. One miss today. Loves racing here in Ruhpolding. Imagine some of the later starters to come. Perfection in the range would have been required. Rastogujev crossed the line as the first man home, bib number 2. And here is Lucas Hopper. And perfection from the Italian, 10 out of 10 in the range. And his charge is now on to position himself in the best place possible going into tomorrow's pursuit.
This is good stuff from Lucas Hopper. Probably not going to be in the top 3 or top 5, but still clean on the day. And he is out. Whenever he shoots clean, he comes out of the range flying.
And that confidence to carry around the final lap for Lucas Hopper. He's edging closer and closer, of course, to that home Olympic Games in Antholz in just a couple of weeks' time. Here's Fabien Claude.
Check out the lead on Fabien Claude here, 21.6 seconds, but he drops the third shot, and he drops the fourth as well. And he drops the fifth. He's flying on the skis, but it doesn't matter because he's got 150 meters of penalty with the ski, or 450 meters of penalty.
I think he'd have been happy with the 150 chap, but unfortunately the race gone after an incredibly quick start for Fabien Claude. Here's Kretschmar with number 20, trailing by 1.3 seconds when he came in, but he's perfect and will chase the time of Lucas Hopper out of the range.
Kretschmar taking advantage of the relatively poor shooting of the field so far, and he's going to go just outside the time of Hopper and challenge the two old men of Czech Republic and Italy doing battle early in the starter on the last lap.
Shortstop Christensen making his way out onto the track, 7th in the total score standings, and sprint winner in Nancy Le Grand Bonnard, of course. Keep your eyes on him as Joschka Bergholfer of Switzerland comes into the range.
And there's Hornig. We didn't see his first shooting. Comes into standing shooting further down the order. Hornig back out on course.
Here's the German, Lucas Fratscher. 2 misses, but it should be enough to take the lead as he comes towards the line. And as the 6th finisher across the finish line today, Lucas Fratscher will go into the lead ahead of Rastogujev of Latvia. Here's Tommaso Giacomel, the split yellow and red bib, just the 3rd Italian to wear yellow on the World Cup, and he has flown out of the blocks, Chad. This is a man who means business today.
He does, and as Maxime Germain comes through with 2 penalties, 8th place right now. He's going to get a nice ride off of the world #1 in his final lap to the finish. You can see Germain right ahead of the trio here on course. Two misses, just too much done. And Hornig misses 2 on the last stage as well. He shoots 19 seconds. Stop Hornig, the early leader, went for it in the standing and dropped 2, and has dropped down now to 7.
As Isak Fry goes through the 5.9 kilometre mark in the lead by 6.8 seconds and has a nifty tow here from 2 of his nation's bitter rivals in the Swedes.
This is a good position for Fry to get a nice ride off the Swede into his second shooting stage. Kind of keep your pace high and gives you somebody to chase. A lot of times those dynamics can matter. If you get a good ride off somebody in the earlier loop, just carrying you and keeping your pace honest. You have to be aggressive to win here.
Into the range in the prone position as David Zobel comes in on the stand, and well, you do imagine that Oscar Lombardo comes into this race with a fair bit of confidence after his performance in the relay. He's winning for the first time this season. David Zobel is away, clean in the stand.
This is good for
around the
Zobel.
penalty loop for Lombardo.
So much going on. We're not going to see Zobel leave, but he will take the lead after shooting 2, I believe. Yes, he does, by 10 seconds over the Italian Hofer. But meanwhile, Brandt comes to the finish line, and he'll take the lead at the finish.
Right, just 2.6 seconds, but 2 misses as well for Victor Brandt. And now, Chad, as we look at shooting 2 and the standings coming out of it, the top 3 all clean today. Can Isak Fry join them? He leads by 7 seconds coming in.
And the German crowd loves what David Zobel did from bib 26. Fry take him down. He's flying on the range. Samuelson prone.
And there will be a new leader in Isak Fry coming out of shooting 2. Takes a look to one side, knows the advantage that he has here. Samuelson in for his first visit, and he's 5 for 5 in the prone.
After nearly lulling us to sleep the first quarter of this field, not shooting very well, the shooting suddenly taking off in the form of Fry, Zobel, and Samuelson. Things getting hot now in the men's biathlon sprint and pulling it. 14 seconds now, Samuelson takes the lead by after prone.
Martin Ponsaloma, bib number 60. Final deep breaths for the Swede. Performed well in the relay. See it over the line though, Sebastian Samuelson, for a medal. First time they've fallen off the podium as a quartet this season.
Starting to see the biathlon best. And starting to see the cream rise to the top of the field here. We start seeing clean and fast shooting stages, what we expected to see for the win. Here's Matt Campbell right now, trailing by 7.4 seconds. Relatively quick to the first shot. Being aggressive, but not too aggressive. Not going to be enough to take the lead, and I think he's going to know that. He knows that it's fast, but not fast enough, neither the skiing nor the shooting. But he will figure in, he'll slot in between Barats and Samuelson with the first credible threat on the Swede at 4.6 seconds back. I like what Campbell Wright did there in that situation. He didn't go too crazy, and he realized that there was room and space for him to slot into the second spot. He did exactly what he needed to do. He's got a great sense of the minimum he needs to do without losing control.
Here's Vitaltis Strolier, a Lithuanian with 2 misses, but he will take the lead across the line. 6.2 seconds ahead of Victor Brandt. Justin Aileen, Brandt's teammate. Martin Nordahl comes in for his first of 2 shooting stages.
Aileen struggling to get settled. 18.2 seconds. You see the effort out on the course is playing with the shooting. And this is the crux of biathlon playing out for Aileen. Can he keep it 4 or 5? He does. Despite being very unstable, Aileen hits 4 for 5, but Uldahl now with a chance to take. He's going to fall outside the time of both Samuelson and the American Campbell Wright.
Yep, didn't have the time coming in, as Lucas Hofer will be our new leader at the finish line. And across he goes, 18.8 seconds ahead of Vitaltis Strolier. Good day in the office for the Italian, perfect shooting. A perfect 10 out of 10 as he drops to his name, in his knees. His job well and truly done here, with now 18 through the finish line.
The last sprint pursuit trial for these guys. Great thing for Lucas Hofer to have that going into his home Olympics. You want that in his pocket.
Stella Holmgren will want a podium to take into the Olympics. It's evaded him for so long now.
Lagride in 9th place in the World Cup without a single podium finish yet this year. It's hard to believe. And he is not going to take the lead, but he will be in a podium position.
Second for now for Stella Holmgren. Kuchma of Czechia will fall outside the time required to take the lead at the finish line. Lucas Hofer will remain in first. It will still be second for Kuchma of Czechia across the line. Perfect shooting for him today, clean through the range. Here is Gustav Christensen.
Trailing Samuelson by 4.7 seconds. And that's not a surprising gap, but shows you exactly how quickly Sjöstedt Christensen needs to get his business done here. And perfectly. Out of contention now. Tough start for Vetle Sjöstedt Christensen on the final sprint before the Olympic Games.
Here is the man who is carrying currently all the momentum going into those home Olympics, the Italian Tommaso Giacomel. 3 wins on the bounce in all competitions. And of course, the only man this season to have won 2 sprints, Philipsen and Oberhof. Can he do it again here in Ruhpolding?
He's close. 3rd place in the first ski lap. This is Australia, heads up for Germany. Tommaso Giacomel not flexing his ski muscle at this point. He's trailing Samuelson, which is statistically about accurate to the season so far. Oh, a miss.
Miss now, though. How costly will that be for Tommaso Giacomel?
I don't think he can win a Ruhpolding with a miss. I just don't. No matter how well he's been skiing with the ski speed he showed that first lap, I think Tommaso Giacomel is not likely to win his 5th World Cup of the season.
It looks like we will have a new leader as David Zobel comes through. The 9.3 kilometre mark in the lead by 12.2 seconds. Here's Konrad Badac of Poland. He has a miss now in the stands. 9 out of 10 for him today.
We're going to see this man on a podium someday, I believe. This young Polish team has some really great talent, but they're just not quite at the level yet to step on a podium. And that miss shows you, it kind of exhibits that sentiment right there.
Phil Maillet now, trailing by 11.4 seconds into the range.
He's a man who knows how to prepare for an Olympic Games. He had 5 medals at the last Olympics, but it might require him not to be so perfect yet on the course.
Perfect so far from Phil Maillet as David Zobel comes towards the line. 5 out of 5 for Phil Maillet. And Zobel across the line, 13.6 seconds. His advantage over Lucas Hofer.
It's going to be good, but we have to see the red group come through to see how good. Meanwhile, Quentin Phil Maillet in the 6th.
Here's Isak Fry. Perfect shooting today, exceptional in the range and quick on the skis as well.
Leading by 12.1 seconds at 9.3 kilometers, but he's got a little bit of traffic as he comes to the finish line. I don't think it'll dampen his finish too terribly much, though.
We'll have a new leader. It will be the blue bib Isak Fry. Has a personal best of 4th. 20 for the red group to come, as Chad has already mentioned, but a good performance today from the IBU Cup winner last season.
Meanwhile, in the prone position you saw in the breakout screen, Eric Perot with a miss as well. Sebastian Samuelson, this is for the win. He's leading by 23 seconds, and I have to say, with the misses we've seen so far from some of the favorites, this is a chance for Sebastian Samuelson to take his first win of the season. Big opportunity here, and he senses it. And he's finally clean in a sprint. This could be the perfect day Sebastian Samuelson has been waiting for all season long. His ski fitness has him at the top of the order as the best skier in the world right now in biathlon, and he's also clean today, and that is a tough thing to topple.
No wins since the mass start in Oslo. Could today be the days? In pole position, Sebastian Samuelsson in a lead over 20 seconds out of shooting 2. Here's Martin Ponsaloma, his compatriot, in for the prone shoot, trailing by 7.1 seconds. Thus is how good Sebastian Samuelsson has been on the skis today. It is clean so far, and it will be clean in the prone position for Martin Ponsaloma.
Ponsaloma, a little slow start for him, but that's something he likes to do. He can also create that speed in the last loop. He's so fast on the skis, trailing his teammate now by 6.6 seconds. Don't count him out, but he's got to go clean standing. We all know that. And now the man who's clean from prone, Campbell Wright, comes in, but he's 16 seconds back, not showing the ski speed that Samuelsson had, but he is competitive against Fry and Zobel. But
starts with a miss though, and that's Campbell Wright out of the picture. 2 misses now, and it's damage limitations 3. 4 misses, only 1 hit in his final visit, and that has done a huge amount of damage to his hopes, of course, tomorrow as well for the pursuit. Here's Philip Navrat.
Navrat unable to be aggressive in the first 2 shots, maybe just thinking a little too much, but he's clean.
And only 5.9 seconds behind as he came into shooting 1. We'll see where he exits. Obviously carries good momentum from the podium finish, the silver medal in Oberhof last weekend. And into 5th he goes, 8.3 seconds down. That's behind the time of Sebastian Samuelsson, who's had an excellent race so far. Won't be enough to trouble the podium places for Jesper Nælin. He will come across the line in 5th. Looking down Strolja of Lithuania. Here's Martin Oldal. Starts with a miss.
Oldal not showing the fitness coming in. He was clean and was still way out on the ski time. And neither is Johannes Dali Shevdal. 13.4 seconds in arrears coming into prone. I think the Swedes probably have a ski advantage on the Norwegians today. Either that or just feeling a little bit tired.
A 9 out of 10 day for Carlo Seppala.
Great skiing from Seppala. He's going to take down Hofer with a penalty. Seppala comes in with the 6th fastest ski time at the finish to move into 3rd position.
Here's Stella Holmlaglide, the reigning total score champion, but he trails by 23.1 seconds coming into shooting 2. Needs to be quick in the range and accurate as well. He is so far. 10 out of 10, and there it is.
The ski speed is just not there. The Norwegians are all struggling compared to the top of the field on their ski corner. Jacqueline goes clean from prone as well.
And that was very quick from Emilia Jacqueline, who struggled last week in Oberhof. He was coming off the back of a testing period at altitude, and they said don't expect too much of him. He was rested due to a fever. Those were the reports from the French media for the relay, but he's into 2nd. And of course has 1 shooting stage to go. This is the man who's the target at the minute, Sebastian Samuelsson, who you imagine will remain the target for quite some time. Exceptional in the range, perfect on the skis today. Making his way around the final lap. This is the 8.7 kilometre mark, and you see the green all the way through. He's in the green, and his advantage is continuing to grow over Isak Fry. 31.3 seconds now, the lead of Sebastian Samuelsson, and just look at the form the Swede is in.
The magnitude of leading by 31 seconds at that point in the race on this course tells you that Sebastian Samuelsson is on another level. All of his main competitors so far that have a chance, except for Jacqueline, all have misses, and that is why he's got such a big gap, because Fry is not anywhere near the capacity to stay with Samuelsson on the skis.
Well, Chris Estrella has come through shooting 1. 5 out of 5 for him. Slightly off the pace on the skis. Of course, that is the comparison with Sebastian Samuelsson. He finds himself in 8th. Here's Tommaso Giacomel. Where will he land coming in? He needs to be perfect here. Trails 19.9 seconds.
Yeah, did some damage control on the 2nd lap. Picked up the pace for sure. on the skis with that miss, carrying that miss. He's under 20 seconds back, and he's clean. Don't count the man from Italy out yet.
Well, look at that for a recovery. Tommaso Giacomel. Now keep your eyes on the time. He needs a big final lap hit, but he could still find himself on the podium, and he will exit in second now. Tommaso Giacomel.
Remember, Sebastian Samuelsson is the fastest skier statistically in the field this year, and he's leading by less than 23 seconds with a miss from Giacomel. It means Giacomel is taking time out of Samuelsson either on the course or on the shooting range or both.
Good day in the office for Konrad Balac. Crossed the line in 7th, number 39.
That would supplant his best, ever finish his best 25th place so far. So he's well inside that right now, but still a lot of competitors to come to the finish line.
Has been an excellent form this season, the pole. And as we see, Quentin Fillon-Maillet, 25.2 seconds down, perfect in the prone. Can he keep it up in the stand? It's looking good so far for the Frenchman. 10 out of 10 for Quentin Fillon-Maillet.
Fast enough shooting, good shooting, but his ski speed is just not there. Making me wonder if he's maybe carrying a little bit too much load as he's still trying to keep his training high enough so that he peaks at the Olympic Games. That might be a little bit what we're seeing, but the Norwegians across the board, besides Fry having an outside ski performance for himself, sitting in a medal position so far at the finish line.
And here is Sebastian Samuelsson driving towards the line. It has been a supreme performance, and just look at the advantage that he holds in this men's sprint. Across the line, 34.1 seconds in the lead. He hasn't won on the World Cup since Oslo and the mass start at the end of last season, and he's never finished on the podium in Ruhpolding. Could today be the day that he banishes the demons of those gold medals of times gone past? Here is Eric Perrault now.
Had a miss from the prone position, put him back a little bit out of the competition. Remember, Giacomel had a miss too, and so Perrault trying to battle with Giacomel for second. He's probably not going to get Samuelsson with the ski speed and the power that Samuelsson showed on that last loop. Samuelsson flew around the final lap and leads that by Oscar Lombardo by 3.4 seconds.
Eric Perrault into 6th. Here's Sturla Holmgren. And it's 3rd for now, 37.1 seconds. He trails the time of Sebastian Samuelsson. He needs to close the gap on Isak Frey if he's to keep his hopes of finishing on the podium alive. You feel with Emilien Jacquelin flying around his second lap. Here's Ponsaloma, 18.1 seconds. He trails. There's the miss.
Nine for 10. Solid day on the range for Ponsaloma, but his ski speed is not quite matching that of his teammates. So Sebastian Samuelsson throwing down a massive sprint performance as the final race before the Olympics, his final test. What a way to win your last test before the Olympics to give yourself some confidence.
Into the range comes Philipp Navrat, perfect in the prone. Trailing, he comes in by 18.5 seconds. For Philipp Navrat.
Going to keep him in contention for the pursuit tomorrow, but he's seated 10 seconds already to Samuelsson just on the second ski loop, and then he's going to concede more time in the penalty loop now. Here's Giacomel.
Being urged around this final lap, he's at the 8.7 kilometre mark and still unable to significantly cut the gap to Sebastian Samuelsson.
He's exactly 14.8 seconds back to the 10th where he was when he left the shooting range, so nothing doing there for Giacomel.
Martin Uldal to finish inside of the top 10 here. He'll just fall inside at 8th. for now, but Martin Oldal, one miss on the day, the Norwegian.
Norwegians, I think, are going to be a little bit chagrined with their ski performance today, and probably going to have to go back to the technicians and say we need better skis for tomorrow.
Well, apart from, potentially, Zach Fry.
Right.
Who's looking to finish on the podium for the first time in the World Cup, with Stella Holmgren now coming towards the line. Can he push David Zobel out of the podium positions? It will be third for now for Stella Holmgren. As the German drops out of contention for a podium finish in the medal today.
And this is telling you a story. All you have to do is look at Johannes Dalishevdal to figure out how the Norwegians are doing. He's clean and in 9th place after shooting 38 seconds back. That is not a typical statistic you would expect from Dalishevdal on the skis.
Here's Emilien Jacquelin, one miss. And he was the closest challenger to Sebastian Samuelsson going out of shooting one, and you can now safely say that this race is Sebastian Samuelsson's. As we see Tommaso Giacomel make his way around the final twists and turns. Well, it won't be the victory today. His winning streak will end, Tommaso Giacomel, but his incredible form continues. One miss. And at the last time check, he was 16.7 seconds down on the time of Sebastian Samuelsson.
Looking to split
perfect.
He's looking to split the gap between Samuelsson and Fry right down the middle. Fry trying to hang on to a podium finish here. And that would be his first of his career. He's been fourth last season in Oslo in the sprint. So Fry, kind of the one Norwegian in a giddy position today.
And Tommaso Giacomel crossed the line in second. His excellent form continues as he will extend the gap to the chasers in the total score competition. Lucius Destrello trailing on the skis despite it. Perfect visit to that point in the range. Now twice around the penalty loop he goes, an extra 300 metres added to his course today.
Tommaso Giacomel thinking about that miss. He knows it would have been a fourth straight victory. And he is in a good run of form, that's for sure. But he's second in Ruhpolding with a miss. That is some great skiing by the Italian.
Well, you can never rule him out, can you? When he won in Östersund, and well, you look at those two races, I mean in Oberhof even, those two races, he came back from dropping to shoot a number of targets, and more than you'd ever expected anyone to come back from, proving that he is equally as strong in his mind as he is philly. Quentin Fillon-Maillet now.
Is it Fry going to narrowly escape the charge of Fillon-Maillet for the third spot? So Fry stays in third. A deep sigh of relief for him. Actually, a little more comfortable compared to Fillon-Maillet than I was anticipating there. The point is, Fry trying to get his first World Cup podium today. Nice sportsmanship between Giacomel and Christensen. Well, it's not a win for the Italian, but he sure is going to carry some great momentum into the Olympic Games with the ski form he's showing right now. Here's the man that was supposed to be the buzz kid of the season. Tommaso Giacomel has eclipsed him now as a leader. The overall World Cup. Still sitting in third, though, overall in the World Cup standings. Perrault trying to get into the podium spot. He's not going to push Fry off either.
He will fall behind his teammate Fillon-Maillet as well. Eric Perrault into fifth. Stella Holmgren, whose weight continues for a podium position this season. The wait is over for Sebastian Samuelsson. Victory more than secured. Exciting to see Tommaso Giacomel can do, of course. Final stop before the Olympic Games.
Well, he's got less than 10 seconds to get to the line for Martin Ponsaloma to get on the podium, and Isaac Fry is gonna dodge the charge of Ponsaloma as well.
It will be a finish that will just push Sturla Holmgren out of the flower ceremony. Ponsaloma finishing sixth with one miss, 3 misses amongst the top 6. One for each of Tommaso Giacomel, and Martin Ponsaloma.
Nobody left challenging for the victory out on the course, but Emilia Jacqueline is in proximity to the podium spot. Is at the 8.7 kilometer mark. Jacqueline with 1 miss and Fry's clean shooting has a 5-second gap between those two, and Isaac Fry is going to wait nervously as Jacqueline makes his way toward the finish. Navarro has to fall outside the podium times on this turn into the finish stretch. Can you give us a sense of just how well Isaac Fry skied today and shot very quick on the range? Taking down a lot of athletes who are ranked higher than him in the ski standings.
For Philip Nazar today. For Bruchnik of Ukraine, trailing by 46.5 seconds coming in, and 2 misses now, an extra at least of 300 metres to be added to his race. Here's Johannes Dahle-Skjøvdal trying to push himself into the top 10. Navrat will fall down into 10th as Johannes Dahle-Skjøvdal across the line in 9th.
Well, great shooting, but that is a miss on the skis for Johannes Dahle-Skjøvdal. Anyway, a slice third fastest skier statistically in the World Cup field. Goes clean and comes in 9th. He's going to be disappointed with that, but going to have to try to find some recovery as he gets ready for tomorrow's pursuit.
Sjöqvist of Sweden, perfect so far in the range, but 45.8 seconds down on the time of his compatriot. Sits the 5 out of 5 and 10 out of 10 for the day. Here's Emilia Jacqueline.
He's lost time in the last loop. He's looking like he's limping a little bit as he thought he might challenge Fry for the 3rd and final spot, but he's fading in the final kilometer.
It won't be a flower ceremony finish either today for Emilia Jacqueline. He's crossed the line in 7th, but positioned himself well for the pursuit. He's 46.7 seconds back, level with Sturla Holmgren. So those two will be kicking up things tomorrow at the same time. And currently a minute separating the top 12 from Samuelson down to Telo Seppala. Will start 58 seconds behind the time of the Swede.
We're watching the efforts of Henrik Sjöqvist of Sweden. Schomer clean from the first lead, but has missed now, starting the 2nd. And then a minute 5 out of the lead. Integral part of that American relay team going into the Olympic Games. The glue at this point for the team is Schomer. He's 9 for 10 today. We'll fall outside the top 20 with that, though.
And the job now done for Sebastian Samuelsson. An 8th career win. which is the most of all Swedish male biathletes in history. Finishing ahead of Tommaso Giacomelli by 17.6 seconds. Isak Frey, a first podium for the Norwegian who wears the blue bib. Norwegian today in the top 5. Taking fourth, Eric Perrault 5th, and Martin Ponsaloma rounding out the flower ceremony. Here's just a Strelo, 2 misses, and he finds himself about 2 minutes down on the time of Sebastian Samuelsson. 40th place for now. 40th, of course, receiving points.
Nicola Roni now for Italy. We haven't seen too much of on this World Cup circuit. 3rd World Cup start for him. 31 years of age. Clean to a prone, trying to perhaps throw down his best performance of his career. His best is 67th, and he's inside that with clean shooting today. Nice job from Nicola Romani near the end of the start order.
Will position himself well here, Chad, going into the pursuit tomorrow. Just his 2nd individual World Cup start after being part of the relay team this week, of course, with the absence of Tommaso Giacomelli from the relay competition, rested, and it's pretty good avail today with Giacomelli taking 2nd place as the Italians continue their excellent season. Hoffa, the next best of the Italians, in 13th, and we'll wait to see where Romanin finishes up.
Here's Rasmus Schillerup of Denmark. Solid performance there to start his day on the course. 1 time on the penalty loop.
Himself just outside of the top 12 in the qualifying points ahead of the Olympic Games.
Yeah, Schiller trying to be one of the athletes who could possibly qualify with other team in the top 20 of the overall standings and qualify as an individual through the 12 athletes the IBU will select from teams that don't have the points to qualify as a team. Over in Bulgaria. Now, big 8 in standing. One of the late starter had 1 miss from the prone position. Nice shooting there by Todor. Still pretty young in his career, 24 years of age. 95% standing shooter statistically this year, and then backs that up today with a clean shooting from the standing position. He'll move into the top 50. 45th after the second shooting. Saw Canadian Adam Runnels in there. Let's just get a look at where our English speakers are faring right now. We have 2 Brits, 3 Canadians, and 4 Americans on the start order today. As we watch 106 now from the shooting range of 109 starters. Logan Plett's a Canadian. We won't have his update yet because he's still on the first lap of his 3 on his course. He's from Canada. He's wearing good 109. We watch Dujan Choi. At the finish, the top North American is Sean Doherty in 30th with 9 to 10. Then Maxime Germain 41st with 2 misses on the day. Adam Runnels for Canada sitting in 43rd at the finish. You see Henning Sjöqvist coming in to the finish line.
Sebastian Stolberg alongside him into 34th, choosing for Sussman. Well, bib number 93 today. Ruhpolding Chod has one World Cup podium. That was second in the mass start in Anse-le-Bonbonnard last season. Has 2 misses though from his first visit and trails by 3 seconds the time of Sebastian Samuelsson.
Well, Benino Ricciolo will need another better day than today to make waves in Ruhpolding. He has had some great performances in the past, being hot and cold, and today he was very cold. Henning Kvikquist was hot on the range. He's got 2 zeros next to his name on the shooting range. He's going to try to get into the top 30 here. As the times flash by, he's going to fall outside the top 30 now, it looks like.
Third for Kvikquist. Sweden, perfect shooting mode, as Chad said. Not too far away from his personal best performance, which came this season in on C29 sprint. Possibility to try and pass that tomorrow. And a bumper day of action, 2 pursuit competitions, a happy Swedish coaching team. Sebastian Samuelsson breaking records and becoming the outright record holder now for most wins from a Swedish male biathlete on the World Cup. And with that as well, Chad, moving up to second in the total score, Sebastian Samuelsson. He's been there and thereabouts all season, hasn't he? But it was just that weight, whether he'd, or when he'd find himself on the podium once again. As we see Romanen going through in 33rd through the 9.3 kilometre mark.
Good opportunity for him to flex some muscle to the Italian Olympic team selectors. Great shooting performance from Changgu from China. Doesn't have quite the power on the skis to get him into the pursuit, but 158 back in 82nd spot. You got to feel good about the clean shooting.
Now watching the finish of Romanen. There in the office for the Italians, and he will fall just in ahead even of his teammate Patrick Braunhofer.
Personal best before the day was 67. He's well inside that, and he's going to get his first start in the pursuit as well. So Romanen, a great day for the Italian team.
All the Italians so far in the top 50. Here's Marcus Webb. To just won this.
Nice performance on the shooting range by Marcus Webb. Competed
on the IBU Cup in Slovakia earlier on this week and made the trip over to Germany.
Blagoy Todev now coming to the line for Bulgaria. It's going to be a good performance for him. He's going to be in the pursuit and get some, hopefully get some World Cup points. He finished in the 39th spot, the top 40 get World Cup points. They tally up and rank the world of biathlon. And if you're not in the top 40, you don't show up on that list at all. So Todev in position to actually have some points here today.
Just the second time he's qualified for a pursuit this season.
Schiller up. Good 1-2 of Denmark. Thought about that last shot though. He's going to pay for it with another trip around the penalty booth. Number 104 of 109 starters. Chen Song. Danilo Rittmüller with 4 misses on the day, still trying to stay relevant and get into the pursuit competition in the top 6. Is currently holding on 55th at the 9.3 kilometer mark. Just got to try to hold that to the line. Right now, the man sitting in the final 60th spot on the finisher is Thibaut Langer of Belgium. Paul Schoenberg just outside that in 61st for the United States. Campbell Wright hanging on in 55th with 4 misses on the day. Reynolds for Canada in 47th and Maxime Vermeulen in United States in 45th. And Sean Doherty for the United States in 33rd. Your English-speaking North American finishes so far with the 2 great athletes from Great Britain, Jacques Jeffries and Marcus Bowen-Webb, who we saw earlier in the competition. Jeffries is in the finish in 76th at the moment with a 8-10 shooting on the day.
Finds himself in 3rd in the IBU qualifying points as well. Jacques Jeffries, after transferring from France earlier on this season, making his debut in Annecy-le-Grand-Bonnard, qualifying for the pursuit there. He competed in the last 2 sprints. Unable to qualify for the pursuits in either of those, but that will pale into comparison if he can book his place at the Olympic Games, and as things stand, 3rd in the IBU qualifying points with 12 athletes of each gender being selected on the IBU qualifying point system. As Rittmüller across the line in 55th, pushing down Campbell Wright, also with 4 misses. 56th, but Chad at this point he should still be safe for the pursuit. Campbell Wright, even if it is by the skin of his teeth.
There's Canada's Logan Putz, now the final starter on the day. He had 1 miss from the prone position. Going to probably need to stay clean to have a shot at getting into pursuit tomorrow. Gets the hit. Oh, that shot there. Now he's definitely probably not going to make the pursuit, but Logan Putz with 3 misses on his day. And back out, of course. The final competitor on the start order.
Now here is the finish of our winner, Sebastian Samuelsson. A superb performance today. You couldn't ask for more going into the Olympic Games today. The final sprint, and executed to perfection by the Swede, who has become the outright record holder for most wins on the World Cup of a Swedish male biathlete.
Johannes Lucas, the team head coach, just pounding his fist in the air, and it feels good to emerge. Okay, if you look at what Sebastian Samuelsson has done this year, It's pretty outstanding really up until today. He's got 3 podium finishes, but has only 1 finish outside the top 10. That's 12th place in the Hochfilzen Pursuit. Every one of his other races has been 9th or better. And he finally gets a win today. Mr. Consistency pops up to the top today. And moves up 2 spots in the overall standings. Moves from 4th up to 2nd. Behind Olaf Botten and Eric Perot, and behind Tommaso Giacomel.
And here is Webb, Great Britain. Competed here last season in the individual. Running off the World Cup last season, mixing it of course with the IBU Cup, and this is just his first start on the World Cup in the 25-26 season. Putting it elsewhere in the IBU Cup. Started earlier on this week to compete here in Ruhpolding. 98 through 99. His 11th World Cup start.
These are 12 competitors on start over. The only threatening the top 60 is number 108, Nikita Sugat of Lithuania, sitting in 60. Kind of raced on time with Paul Schulman and Terry Longo, but that would only be for 60. So now he drops down to challenging for the 69th spot. So nobody really left in the course of the champ at the top 60 at this point.
Wir schauen mal, wer heute der schnellste war beim Schießen, liebe Freunde. Machen wir zunächst mal vielleicht Liegenschießen. Zahn war der schnellste mit 21,2.
Man out of 10 in the range for Marcus Bolin Webb. British athlete across the line. 98. Finishing 99th today. Just pushing him down the order as the two finished side by side. Always great to see the smiles on the faces of two of the lesser represented countries on the World Cup. The Brits competing this weekend with Jeffries and Bolin Webb in the men's sprint, and Shauna Pendry yesterday in the women's sprint, and she finds herself in a good position as well in those standings ahead of the Olympic selection.
Now, of course, looking at the effort of Phoenix Spark for Australia. Has 5 World Cup starts before today. 6th. First one, that's a 78th in the runs are higher in the sprint at the World Championships last year.
Here's the single mixed relay with his compatriot and teammate Darcy Morton, the Lenzerheide World Championships. Appearance on the World Cup was Quentin Hopfilton, who finished 95th. Tom of China, the line in 90th. 90th in the range to go.
Da gibt es ein paar Sonderangebote, da macht man Gaudi, da macht man nochmal Stimmung und da stimmen wir uns dann auf den letzten Tag ein. Mit Markus Jäger am offiziellen Biathlon-Bildschirm.
Well, it is a beautiful backdrop, the Alps here on the south of Germany, the Austrian border, not too far away. And the scenic spot of Australia makes his way around the final twists and turns of the course.
Cheered on by this very Biathlon literate crowd. The German fans have been coming to Ruhpolding for the last 3 decades, supporting all these biathlons.
So just 3 athletes left out on the course. As we come towards the end of the men's sprint. 2 very happy teammates. Good day in the office for the Italians. Finishing in the shoot positions.
This is our starter report. Tomorrow's men's pursuit is in the books. Finally called up, but that is Marcus Stephenson from Sweden. 2:12 back. Tight affair. Sebastian Samuelsson with a 17.2-second lead over Giacomo. Drive his podium today, 34 seconds back. Much bigger gaps from first to third than I would have expected from this competition. A lot of that is just with Sebastian Samuelsson winning down the corner. Perfect biathlon by the Swedes today. We knew it was coming.
He had been there or thereabouts all season, Sebastian Samuelsson. It had been a long wait. His last gold medal was the mass start in Oslo. Third in pursuit in Oberhof after finishing 4th in the sprint card. And all that's very good for Sebastian Samuelsson going into the Olympic Games. Only one more World Cup stop before then as Canada across the line in 97 is on the day.
This is a good day for Sebastian Samuelsson. Nice timing with his fitness. Not sure what his plans are for another Mesto. He's an extreme racer. He's a good trainer. Regardless, there's no more sprint competitions from here to the Olympic Games, and there's nothing like going to the Olympic Games when the backbone to potential 2-medal performance is in your hip pocket and you've proven you can win. Of course, you can win a sprint pursuit duel at the Olympics because one medal sets up the other.
Yes, of course. Last across the line, bib 107. Concludes the final men's sprint of the Olympic Games. The opportunity to sharpen up. And it is Sebastian Samuelsson who takes quite the convincing victory over Tommaso Giacomel and in turn becomes the outright record holder. Most World Cup victories of a Swedish male biathlete on the World Cup.
Yeah, he's the man who held that record, Bjorn Ferry on SVT, probably discussing that very statistic, the former leader of the Swedish victory tally. likely on the air right now with the Swedish television crowd, and I'm sure Bjorn Ferry is going to send him some congratulations at the end of the day. We saw Sean Doherty leading the North American charge there for the United States in the 30th spot. One miss on the day. Maxime Germain gets into the pursuit for the United States just behind Justus Strelo, 5th. Each of them with 2 misses on the day. And Campbell Wright sneaks in with, despite 4 misses on the shooting range, a good day for hunting for Campbell Wright from back in the field with a difficult standing position today. We'll probably have a bit of fun. And Paul Schomer just missing out on the pursuit tomorrow. And we'll have to sit out and watch his teammates compete. He's 62nd, just out of the 60 required to get into the pursuit.
So Tommaso Giacomel extends his lead at the top of the standings in the World Cup total score. Finds himself in an excellent position going into the Olympic Games. Just one more pursuit to go before we head over to Novo Mesto for one last stop. And will it be interesting, Chad, to potentially hear over the next couple of days and indeed see by the time the start lists come out for Novo Mesto who's taking on what tactics ahead of those Olympic Games, the balance of training at altitude, resting and getting everything right ahead of the crucial month that we have ahead.
Yeah, just looking at the schedule, we've got a a short individual on for both the men and the women on Thursday and Friday, and then on Saturday there's a single mixed relay and a mixed relay, which I think that's going to draw some people. I think if anybody's going to show up to Novo Mesto, it's probably going to have something to do with trying to dial in those mixed relays and single mixed relays. So look for teams who have strong possibilities at the Olympic Games to field some of their best athletes in that single mixed and mixed relay. And then they close out the weekend on Sunday with a men's and women's mass start. So, of course, an opportunity for a lot of people who are not in the top 30 if they go to Novo Mesto to get a shot in the mass start, because I'm going to guess we're going to have not a terribly diluted field, but a little bit. The Olympics are only every 4 years, and the preparation is absolutely critical to getting it right, especially with onto the altitude. So expect to see some surprising names both there and not on hand in Novo Mesto. Steph Fry getting the podium today to try to make his case for a spot on the Norwegian Olympic team. So Giacomel just one shot away from making it his 4th straight victory, which would have been his 6th, but he ended up 2nd with a missed shot and 17.6 seconds behind this man, Sebastian Samuelsson, who was perfect today in all manner of biathlon.
Not your only first podium, individual podium here, but your first win. How special it is to win in Ruhpolding, almost your second home venue.
It's very cool. I mean, our coach is German, so it feels like Hemmasieg. I'm very happy with my performance today.
This win also gives you the 8th victory, which gives you the most victories among all Swedish male biathletes. How does it feel to overpass, and how special it is to overpass such a legend as Björn Ferry, who held it before you?
Yeah, I didn't think about it, but of course it's very cool to... Yeah, what should I say? It's not... how many did you say? 8, 9 victories? I had 8, so I think... it's not that often, so when it happens you have to celebrate really and try to enjoy it, and that I will do today.
Then celebrate and enjoy.
Thank you.
Well, lots to get into there from Sebastian Samuelsson. It's the best time for him to come into form, Chad, and maybe saying that is doing a disservice to the season that he's had so far. But a first victory on the World Cup since Oslo at the end of last season, and what a way to maybe banish the demons of the times this season where he felt like he could have taken that one step further than a second and a third.
Yeah, but you know, all things are good right now. He's second in the sprint score, he's second in the overall score. He is finished, as I said, out of the top 10 once this season. At worst, finished at 12th. He hadn't had a win until today, but he got the win, and all things considered, I feel like I've never gotten the sense that Sebastian Samuelsson has been frustrated with his season in any shape of the word. He's actually very consistent. It just he wanted to get a win, and he got a win today, and this is perfect timing. I mean, I think as far as if I was his coach, I feel like this is exactly how you want to go in the Olympic Games. He's hitting it right at the right time.
Well, we've seen the bigger Beppos this week, but of course with the weekend, school's out, and it's the youngsters who are taking on the roles, giving out the prizes at the end of racing today. Well, you speak about consistency, and as much as Sebastian Samuelsson does have a great record this season, you can't really look much further in terms of the word consistency, Chad, than this man, Tommaso Giacomel. No 4th win consecutively this season, but on the podium still, and he's just having the season of his life, but it comes of course with such a conflicting time with the loss of his close friend over Christmas.
Yeah, the loss of Sivert Bakken is still heavy on the hearts of both Norway and this man here, but everybody. I think the Biathlon family in general still kind of reeling from the loss of Sivert Bakken and everything being dedicated to him. This man, Giacomel, before the loss of Sivert Bakken, he raced with him in Le Gambrenon when he did not do very well. His first 2 races were 24th in the sprint and 15th in the pursuit at Le Gambrenon, and then he took the mass start on the final day to win his first race, second race of this season, 3rd of his career. Almost wins it now 3 in a row, or 4 in a row. He's won 3 in a row and finished the second today. But I'm sure Giacomel feeling good that he's something more to race for than just the result itself.
First podium finish as well for Isak Krijk. Perfect in the range today, and just 34.1 seconds behind the time of Sebastian Samuelsson. He was electric on the skis, and it all came together in the range, and it will be Sebastian Samuelsson who stands atop the podium, broken the record that he shared with Björn Ferry.
Isak Krijk with the fastest time of the Norwegian team. 10th fastest course total time, but that was the best of the Norwegians. That's something he's used to.
Still on the ride, the next best just off the flower ceremony, perfect shooting today, but found himself 46.7 seconds behind the pace of Sebastian Samuelsson.
Not sure what happened in the skis today, but Isak Krijk made his best day of his career. And the smile says it all.
Yep, you can see what it means to Isak Krijk. starting in the earlier bibs today, but leaving his mark. Previous best was 4th in the sprint in Oslo at the end of last season. Still fewer than 20 World Cup starts for Isak Frey. World Cup winner from last season. Well, here's a man who's contending to take home the World Cup trophy at the end of this season. Tommaso Giacomel, silver today, 1 miss, but his recovery, Chad, from that miss speaks absolute volumes once again.
Yeah, still throwing down a great course time. He and Sebastian Samuelsson were on another plane to on the skis. They were 7 seconds separated, and then they had 13 seconds over Bart Perot in third. And you want that course prowess. That's the way you win these World Cups, especially on a course where there's so little time to make up on the rest of the field. The fact that Samuelsson and Giacomel were that far ahead of the field, you could add another 20 to 30% of that time on most other courses. This course doesn't give up a lot of time across the field. So there's some really outstanding ski performances by Samuelsson and Giacomel, and they find themselves 1 and 2 on the podium.
Well, he had to wait, Sebastian Samuelsson, but victory is his, and an 8th gold medal on the World Cup. And victory at the perfect time, the final sprint before the Olympic Games going the way of the Swede. And we will have 2 pursuits tomorrow, led out by Swede. Hannah Öberg will be kicking things off in the women's pursuit. Get started at 12:30 Central European time before Sebastian Samuelsson will lead the way in the men's.
Didn't talk much about Kenton Filmer majors, but it's all race for him too. Right? 41 seconds back in 4th, just off the podium. Big names all up there still, Ellen, as we head down, stretch towards Milan Cortina.
Of course, Kenton Filmer does have a pursuit victory this season. That was in Östersund, after finishing 3rd in the sprint on the days prior. So Sebastian Samuelsson victorious here in Ruhpolding, the first time he stood on a podium in the south of Germany, and he does stand on top spot and will lead out the pursuit tomorrow. The men's pursuit gets underway at 3 o'clock Central European time. Before that though, at 12:30 Central European time, the women's 10 kilometre pursuit, and we hope you can join us once again here on Eurovision Sport.